Sensory design considers our whole bodies, not just our sense of vision. Ocular centrism describes how Western culture emphasizes sight over our other senses. Focusing too much on vision can make us feel alienated, cold, and distant. Sight is distanced, while our other senses are direct and physical. Even sound is a vibration that physically touches us. So you've probably heard that dogs are way better at smelling than people, right? What dogs are really good at is sniffing. And that's why dogs have really long snouts. Because when they sniff, which means bringing, air into their body, that long snout gives them more time to smell all the amazing stuff that they find on the ground. Human beings, what we're really good at is when you're eating, air comes back out of your windpipe and mixes with the food inside your mouth. And we're really good at that. Dogs don't have a lot of that sensitivity, but human beings do. And that's the smelling that you're doing when you're eating. Okay, it's actually smelling that's happening inside your body. It's not sniffing. According to one scientist, human beings can recognize 1 trillion distinct smells. That's basically infinite, since no one can count to 1 trillion or describe 1 trillion different sensations. Scientists have tried many ways to visualize the infinite universe of smell. So I'm showing you some body care products from Muji. And some of them have a more brown kind of container, and some are more green. And that suggests that some are going to be more herbal, and some are more warm and spicy. And the product inside is all white, right? There's no difference in the color of the product. And here's some saltwater taffy. And here the designer has chosen these colors to suggest these different flavors. And it's hard, right? Like, how do you make a color for sea salt caramel? This designer, instead of trying to show the color of caramel, used this gray-green to suggest the color of the sea. Often products are designed to be kind of a rainbow of colors, like a full spectrum. So this Dr. Bronner's soap, the colors and the smells have been chosen to kind of hit all the notes. And this is the packaging for Counterculture. And I really like that this is coffee packaging that's not brown, right? Most coffee packaging is brown, and it suggests the product, right, that is dark and deep and bitter. But this is very, kind of focuses on those other notes, right, those bright, fruity notes that a really sensitive coffee drinker, unlike myself, can make sense of. And this is a color wheel representing something called anosmia, which is the inability to smell. It's considered a sensory difference or sensory disability. And it can be something you're born with. It can be something that happens after an accident or an illness. It's actually a symptom of COVID-19. And people that lose their sense of smell, it sounds really minor, but it actually really interrupts your whole ability to taste food. This is some beautiful packaging for masked chocolate, where instead of being very literal about how to represent smell, the designer has created these almost paintings. So scientists have looked at the relationship between language and smell and taste, and they found that when you read the word cinnamon, the same part of your brain gets activated as if you were actually smelling it. And as designers, we can help people experience things through language and through color. So if I take the word cinnamon and put the appropriate color with it, it really intensifies my experience of cinnamon. And if I use the wrong color, that's like a shock to the system. And so as designers, sometimes we want to enhance or go against people's sensory expectation. This is the Illustrator color library called Beverage. So I've got lemonade and martini and red wine and orange juice. But of course, the names and the language help to make that message stronger, right? If I change the captions, I have a totally different understanding of what these colors are. Now, you may be skeptical about these dog poop colors. That first one is very, very pale. Well, let me introduce you to Kevin. Kevin is so special. He poops vanilla. In 2018, I organized the exhibition, The Senses, Design Beyond Vision, at Cooper Hewitt Smithsonian Design Museum in New York City. Let's take a multi-sensory tour of the senses. One sort of concept I want to share with you is the idea of space having a sensory aspect. And every room actually has a unique sound. So there's a principle in sound design of adding a filter to a sound to convey the kind of architecture of the room. And this is called reverb. A composer made this for me, and she has a few notes of music, and then she puts different filters on it that each convey a different kind of architecture. This is a video that we showed in my exhibition. It's called Wicca Singer, and I'm going to show you about a 1-minute clip from it. And in this video, this wonderful singer is singing a song, but he keeps being transported to different architectural spaces. And each of those spaces has a completely different sound to it. And it's all edited together to create this one song that has different architectures with it. And all of this sound was recorded without adding any filters.
Just give me a good delay to make my last words stay. Just give me a fast reverb to make my last words longer. I don't wanna leave alone in 9,000 years. No reverb will still exist, so I don't rise and feel it too dangerous. If death is not just a gossip, let me introduce you to the lawbreakers. Let me show you the revolutionaries. Hidden with unspeakable, we want to reach grace.
Okay, here's another project about visualizing sound. But before I show you the visualization, I want to play you some sound without the visual. Okay, I'm going to play you a little clip of sound that even without any picture, you will create a picture in your mind. Not just a picture, a place, an experience, a place that envelops you, a place with a certain air quality to it, okay? So here's a visualization of that, completely abstract. But capturing that coming and going of the sound, right? The place of the sound, the life of it, the way it bursts onto the scene. This is a thesis project by one of our MFA students from a few years ago, Ron Zhang, that was featured in my exhibition. And she wanted to create a system for visualizing sound. And so her system has these shapes, and the shapes get bigger when the sound is louder, and the shapes get sharper when the pitch is higher. So when the pitch is squeakier and higher, like that, the shapes are more sharp. And when the pitch is lower, they are softer, rounder. This is a project about taste and sound. It was done by a wonderful mathematician and musician, Bruno Metz, in Argentina, and it was really fun to work with him on this project. So he did some research where he had professional jazz musicians make a quick improvisation in response to a taste. So like salty, sweet, sour, bitter. And then they analyzed, he and his team analyzed all of those compositions to see if there is some commonality between sour music, bitter music, sweet music. Musicians tended to create very high-pitched sounds for the word sour with like very short notes and a lot of dissonance, whereas bitter was more like low pitch and low articulation of the sounds. It's like lemons, very tart, bright, tart. Chocolate, espresso, Earl Grey tea. This is some furniture that's designed to look like cake and candy. And it's actually made all of like wood and resin and different materials like compressed together. This is some spoons designed by Jin Hyeon Jian. And she's created this whole series of spoons that stimulate your mouth. And so if you think about the process of eating, right, it really uses all our senses. Crispy potato chips, we hear it, what food looks like. So she said, what if we made a spoon that when you eat the food, the spoon itself is adding to your sensory experience?